What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. It is the 21st day of May. Here we are, sitting at $77,300 with roughly 11 hours and 12 minutes left in this day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and let's get into it, okay? We have started to move up a little bit. We've seen a price as high as 78.2K. It is possible that this is where we stop. It is possible that from here we continue to drop. However, I do believe that we're on a path that will take us a little bit higher, something around these highs here, these lows here, maybe even just above there. The highest I'd give us is about 81K, but something in this kind of slanted channel of a range here, if we were looking at this as a slanted head and shoulders pattern, which it could be. Maybe we go up this high, maybe we don't. Perhaps we stop dead in our tracks right here at about 79K. I at least expect that we get near, if not above, $79,000 before proceeding too much lower. If we do happen to proceed lower first, I would expect a bounce from this area and then recovery to this area. And then instead of a slanted head and shoulders pattern, maybe we'll have a very symmetrical head and shoulders pattern at that. Looking here also, just to kind of explain this, price is right at that low there for support. If we take this low to this high, it's right around your 382 area. It's very common to find support just below the 382 instead of right at it. And you just found resistance at the 236. It's actually very common to do this. So if we do go lower, again, that 75K, 76K area would stand to find support. I would expect it to. And then instead of anything that's above these highs, we would expect these highs to be the exact point of resistance. I'm not there yet. We're not seeing it yet. I am thinking that we move up higher, but just a potential path forward in case we're wrong here, in case we do move down a little bit lower. We'll see. We'll keep our eyes out for that. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame, and then we'll zoom out from there, okay? Looking at the 1 hour here on Binance BTC USD, you can see that you had these higher lows coming in. You've broken through, and you had a little bit of volume come through. It's not a lot of volume. It's really not a lot of volume at all. I'm not intimidated by this. Again, I like to call this the sweet spot. I actually like to call this a sweet spot because typically people panic sell right at this moment. They think that they know something. They think that this diagonal trend line breaking means that Bitcoin's going to go lower, but that's not always the case. In fact, Bitcoin and other cryptos like to throw people off in moments like this. Let's just see if we can find an example of this here. Let's see. I mean, this is a good example, but it's a very small example, right? You've got these higher lows here. You broke through. That was the worst time to go short. If you sold there because you broke through that trend line, it went up, but inevitably we did go down, so it's not really the best example. Here, again, not the best example, but if you had a trend line there, you broke below that, and then you pumped. If we were to connect the dots here and put a trend line here, something like this, or maybe a little bit tighter, something like that. Trend line there, once you broke below it, that's when you pumped. But again, inevitably you went down anyways. I'm not expecting this sweet spot here to promote a long-lasting uptrend or anything like that, but maybe we do get a nice move up to this area, something like that. It could be fast, it could be methodical, however it looks, whatever. A little bit of volume there. No continuation, right? It's been 2 hours since you quote-unquote broke out of this trend line here. Oops, I can't draw. I can draw, I just can't draw here. 2 hours since you've broken out here, and not a whole lot of volume, not a whole lot of follow-through. That makes me think that we are in a situation to potentially go long, if anything. Stochastics have reset. The RSI has broken out of its trend to the upside, to be fair, but overall it's still a neutral RSI. You're at the same area that you found support before, and you found support before. Found resistance, 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 all in this area here. And the MACD has reset as well, with the oscillators coming down to the 0 level. We look at this from a low to a high. Right at the 0.5, it's a good enough area to find support. If we do go below, let's say 76.7K. At that point, we might have to start thinking about lower prices. 76.7K, if that level doesn't hold, I think that 75.6 to 74.9K area does become attractive, very attractive indeed. So something to pay attention to. If we do go lower, this would be the area that I would anticipate, 75.6 to 74.9K if we go lower. Okay. And then in moments like this, people like to say, oh, so you're saying it's going to go up, or, oh, it's going to go down, so that you're right either way. Whenever it's down here, you'll be like, haha, I was right. When it's up here, you'll be like, haha, I was right. No. If you don't understand English, then sure, I get where you'd get confused with that. But very clearly, I'm saying we're moving up. If we move down here, just because we're expecting this, I'm expecting this, doesn't mean that we can't have open minds. Doesn't mean that we can't turn our head and look both ways, okay? If we go down here, sure, 75.6K to 74.9K will be the target area, and I expect we bounce there if we go lower. But I'm not going to say, haha, I was right. Clearly, I'm calling for the upside here. Haha, I'll be wrong if we go down here. But that's still the area to expect. Some people think that that means I'm doing that cheap shit that a lot of YouTubers do. You know, it's not that they get that from nowhere. They get that from the fact that, you know, in crypto, a lot of YouTubers will do that. They'll in their video, they'll literally do this. They'll talk about a target up here. They'll talk about a target down here. And they don't actually tell you which side they believe is going to come true. They just say these are the possible targets. And then when one of them happens, they're like, haha, I was right. I'm never wrong. That shit's lame. I don't do that. I make fun of people that do that. That's literally lame. But what I'm doing here is not that. And if you can't understand that, again, I would challenge your comprehensive capabilities. Anyways, 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame. Looking at this here. Lower highs, lower lows, bit of a channel, okay? Moving up, looking good. Actually, even though you've broken out to the downside relative to this little trend here, you still have higher lows overall, right? And your RSI has this nice little uptrend. Higher lows here, higher highs here. I would think this persists until you get to the overbought zone. Further backing my belief that we do move up from here. Doesn't mean we have to. It can make sense that I could still be wrong. But here you are on the stochastics looking like you want to find support at the 50. That's also bullish, potentially. And then the MACD, you have built some bullish momentum. You know, typically, if you get a false cross, it looks like this or lesser. You know, you get a lesser cross here. Typically, whenever you get this much bullish momentum built up in the histogram, you get further iterations that push you higher. Sometimes it's standalone, but typically you get further iterations. So I would expect that this grows at least to the zero. These oscillators grow at least to the zero before finding resistance, or we even cross above the zero. Either way, both paths would take us higher. And again, I think that we will see that 79,000 or higher price area. What is it, Thursday? Maybe by the end of tomorrow. Maybe by the end of tomorrow. If not, sometime early next week. Daily time frame, looking at this here. Again, bouncing off the 40. If we can close today green, I think that would be preferable. If we close it red, that might not look good on the daily time frame, but it's not condemning. It's just not ideal. And the stochastics look like they want to come out of the oversold zone as well. That's also bullish. You've reset, come up a little bit. I'm not talking about going on a full-blown rampage to the overbought zone. Maybe we do see higher highs. I'm just more expecting that we come up, find resistance at the 50. We come up, we find resistance here, and la-di-da-di, we're going to go down. Maybe going into the end of this month or the beginning of June. And then looking at the MACD, I mean, the MACD is near the zero. It might make sense to find a little bit of support here, some shallow support. It's like a false cross up, and then we break back down. Just like we had here, we had resistance here, shallow resistance. It was a false cross down, and then we moved up. Same thing, but to the opposite effect. We'll move down. All of that makes sense to me. If it makes sense to you, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Bye.